May I introduce to all of you our topic for session 8, and it is all about the Philippine-American War from 1899 to 1902. As I begin my report, may I greet you all good afternoon. The first topic that I will tackle is all about the Benevolent Assimilation Proclamation. Before the conclusion of the Treaty of Paris, President McKinley pretended not to know what to do with the Philippines. With the Treaty of Paris concluded to the satisfaction of the American vested interests, McKinley issued his so-called Benevolent Assimilation Proclamation on December 21, 1898. This proclamation was the first official indication of American policy regarding the Philippines, the intention of the United States to stay in the Philippines by exercising his right of sovereignty over the Filipinos. As I go on to the next topic, the shot that started the war, an incident which inevitably led to the outbreak of hostilities. On February 1, a group of American engineers was arrested by the Filipino troops. Aguinaldo further pointed out that the Americans here found well within the Filipino lines, and that they were detained in accordance with the decree of October 20, 1898, prohibiting foreigners from approaching the Filipino defensive works. February 4, an incident occurred which led to the outbreak of the Filipino-American hostilities. The third one is the fall of the Mabini cabinet. Mabini, as president of the cabinet, was the most powerful man behind Aguinaldo. Mabini stood for independence under the protection of the United States, but the prominent members of the Malolos government, like Paterno and Buen Camino, wavered and wanted to accept the American offer of autonomy. With Mabini's resignation, the executive arm of the government was recognized. 7 departments was created: Foreign Affairs, Treasury, Interior, War and Navy, Communication and Public Works, Public Instructions and Agriculture, and Commerce.
The fifth one is all about the conquest of the Visayas. The occupation of Cebu was, however, not as peaceful as it seemed. The dissatisfied guerrillas murdered the Filipinos who surrendered Cebu without a fight and harassed the American soldier by guerrilla tactics. Negros Constitution, submitted to the President of the United States on July 20. The Constitution became the basis to administer its civil matters, under which the people may enjoy the largest measure of civil liberty compatible with prevailing conditions and which shall conform to their desire. As I go through the sixth topic, the Kiram-Bates Treaty. The Americans were very diplomatic and cheerful in dealing with Muslims. In an attempt to win them over, the Americans appointed General John C. Bates to negotiate a treaty with Sultan by which the Muslims and the Americans could coexist peacefully. The treaty has been called the Bates Treaty, provided that sovereignty of the United States over the whole archipelago of Jolo and its dependencies is declared and acknowledged, that the rights and dignities of His Highness, the Sultan and his datus, shall be fully respected, that the shall not be interfered with on account of their religion, and that no one shall be persecuted on account of his religious belief. With the conclusion of this treaty, strive to pacify the Christian Filipinos. The second to the last topic, or the seventh one, is the Aguinaldo retreats to Palanan. With the assassination of Luna, the bulk of the Filipino troops became demoralized. Many army officers surrendered to the enemy, thus making it difficult for Aguinaldo to maintain his army intact. with American forces fanning out in all directions to trap him, Aguinaldo to flee to the north. The Americans followed him in hot pursuit, but Aguinaldo was determined not to be captured and marched through valleys, fields, rivers, and hillsides day and night. It was a place difficult to approach, for the terrain was mountainous, and all points leading to the town were guarded by Aguinaldo's loyal men. And last but not the least topic, the stage of guerrilla warfare. In Aguinaldo's flight to the north, his rearguard commander, General Gregorio del Pilar, noted the advantageous terrain of Pasong Tirad. Pasong Tirad was 4,500 feet high and commanded a good view for miles around. The trail leading to it was so narrow that only one man at a time could clamber up the hill.
And now, as I continue to explore and as I go through again and see the top three results of the Philippine-American War. First, we go along the Filipino casualties and losses. There were 2,000 casualties that the Philippine Constabulary suffered during the war, over 1,000 of which were fatalities. Philippine military deaths are estimated at 20,000 with 16,000 actually counted, while civilian deaths numbered between 250,000 and 1 million Filipinos. These numbers take into account those killed by war, malnutrition, and the cholera epidemic that raged during the war. Second topic, the disposition of the friar lands. It traces its origin from the struggle of the Filipino clergy against racial discrimination and friar domination within the Roman Church in the 19th century, which consequently transformed into a nationalist crusade for the absolute Philippinization of the Church in the twilight years of the 20th century. Again, the last but not the least result, it is the Philippinization of the Church. On October 20, 1898, Aglipay was appointed military vicar general of the revolutionaries. The next day, Aglipay sent a letter to various clergy asking them to ask the Pope to appoint Filipinos in all local church positions. On May 5, 1899, Archbishop Bernardino V. Lozaleda excommunicated Aglipay and from the Roman Catholic Church. The national church is concept of a Christian church associated with a specific ethnic group or nation state. The idea was notably discussed during the 19th century during the emergence of modern nationalism. In an epoch of strong nationalism and critical opposition to U.S. domination, opposition to the Philippinization.
As we end our report for today, we hope that all of you had gained knowledge about the history of the Philippine-American War, and we also hope that you enjoyed it. Thank you for listening and watching. Again, good afternoon and have a good day to all.